Hey, it's Simon Carr here. Why do you lose focus and why does your mind drift during conversation? You know, that moment that you're deep in a chat and suddenly your brain just checks out. Yes, physically, you're still there, but mentally you've drifted 1,000 miles away. And now you've got no idea what the person that you're talking to just said. And it's not that you don't care, your brain just hit a wall. But in this video I'm going to give you 5 actionable strategies to stay engaged, plus a recovery tactic at the end of the video that you're going to need when you've already lost the thread. But before we look at the strategies, let me first tell you why people like you and me who have ADHD lose focus in the first place, because it helps to understand how and why these strategies work. Let's be honest, the stakes are higher than a momentary silence. When our brains pull that disappearing act, it's not just a missed sentence, it's a missed connection. It's the growing distance in a relationship because your partner feels unheard. It's that subtle shift in a manager's tone when they realise that you've lost a thread. And it's that heavy, familiar weight of shame that sits in your chest afterwards. You want to be present, but your executive function has other plans. The constant cycle of faking it, it's exhausting. But it doesn't have to be your default. There's a specific reason why this happens in the ADHD brain. And once you understand the mechanics, these 5 fixes that I'm going to show you will more than help you to listen. They'll help you to finally feel like you're actually part of your own life again. To understand why this happens, we have to look at dopamine. Think of dopamine as your brain's interest currency. For a neurotypical brain, a conversation is a reliable, low-interest investment. They can sustain focus, even when the conversation drags a little. Then their dopamine baseline stays steady enough to keep them engaged. But for the ADHD brain, the interest rates are all wrong. When someone's talking and the topic isn't instantly stimulating, your dopamine levels tank. And the second that they do, your brain goes hunting. And it's not trying to be rude, it's starving. It scans for a thought, a memory, or a random connection that offers a higher reward or payoff. And that sudden idea for a project, the random song that's stuck in your head, that's your brain grabbing for the first hit of dopamine that it can find. It's a survival mechanism that turns your focus into a runaway train. While a neurotypical brain can comfortably ride the low dopamine waves of a boring conversation, the ADHD brain experiences this as a literal deficit. It's like comparing a car full of a tank of gas to one that's running on fumes. The neurotypical brain stays in lane, just listening to the road noise, simply because it has the fuel to do so. The ADHD brain, however, it's constantly looking for the next gas station, swerving off the road, desperate to find any source of fuel just to keep the engine running. And it isn't a lack of willpower, it's a biological divergence, and understanding this gap is the first step towards stopping blaming yourself for what's essentially a chemical reaction. Okay, time for the strategies. And first up is shadowing. Shadowing's going to possibly be the biggest secret weapon. It's the one that I find works best for me. While the other person speaks, you just subtly repeat the last few words in your head. It forces your brain to stay engaged with the immediate input rather than hunting for dopamine elsewhere. And it doesn't just have to be the last few words, just some key words that keep you in the loop. The second strategy is to become a detective. Stop waiting for your turn to speak and instead get curious about the person you're talking to. Ask yourself, what's their intent here? Why is this story important to them? Curiosity, it's a high-octane fuel for the ADHD brain. And number 3, the 30-second summary. Now this one's very similar to the first strategy, but subtly different, and it might work better for you. So every 30 seconds, just mentally summarise what they just said. If you can't, then you know you've drifted. It keeps the loop tight and your brain accountable. Now, strategy number 4 is to actually say it out loud, repeating it to the person that you're talking to. Okay, so he's meeting you at the pub. By reflecting their words back, you aren't just listening, you're also processing, and they feel validated while you stay grounded and in touch with the conversation. The last strategy is just to reduce the noise. Your brain's already a dopamine starved engine, so don't make it any harder. So where possible, turn off the TV, close the laptop, remove the background noise, and give your brain just one channel to tune into. Okay, so that was the 5 strategies, but I also promised you a strategy for when you've already lost the thread. This is the recovery, the moment that you realise that you've already zoned out. Don't panic trying to reconstruct what you missed. That just makes you miss even more. And instead, try what I call catch the next sentence. Just decide, I'm going to understand the very next sentence. And then use one of the 5 strategies that we've already discussed to process what's being said. And by focusing on the present, you stop the brain from replaying the past. And once you've re-engaged, then you can admit the drift if you need to. Oh, I'm sorry, I zoned out for a second. What did you mean by that? Just own the drift and get back to connecting. Now, this isn't about being perfect or staying locked in every single second. It's about knowing how your brain works and having the tools to steer it back. Be kind to yourself when the drift happens, because now you know how to catch it. If this video's helped you feel a little bit more in control, then hit that like button and subscribe for more ADHD friendly strategies. And hey, drop a comment below. What's the one thing that usually pulls your focus away? Let's share the struggle so that we can all get better at the connection. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time.